Girls, sister queens, my girlfriends, leave the passport bros alone. Let them stay over there. A man who is going overseas to a very poor country and paying a very poor woman $40 to give him her undivided attention and unlimited sex can never come back and give a woman who has expectations of a partner and reciprocity anything that she needs. These men want to be serviced. They do not want to care for you. They do not care about meeting any of your needs or desires. They want to be serviced, and that is all that they want. And guess what? That is all that they deserve, because in order for you to keep being serviced, you are going to have to keep paying.
This is a Social Blade, and I just wanted to do a very, very quick year-end review. So basically, as you've noticed, I changed my avatar. I've been using the same avatar for quite a long time. And as I will probably never be giving Mopar any more of my money, and now I'm going over to Cadillac to take my money to somewhere where I think it'll be better treated. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with Mopar. They killed off SRT. They killed off the products for SRT. They never gave us an SRT Hellcat 300. They didn't give us a proper Trackhawk. Then after that, they pretty much had no choice but to get rid of their V8s and whatnot. So pretty much Mopar's dead. It's like they're going to hold on as long as they can, but they're dead. Stellantis, which is a European-owned Dutch company at this point, they are going to push electrification, and they're pretty much going to wipe Dodge out. Electrification is never going to work well for Dodge. It's like no matter how enthusiastic people are about it, the problem is they've always existed based on gas-guzzling V8s and big cars. That's all coming to an end. The new cars that they create are basically going to be Teslas with annoying sound engines. They're going to be batteries on wheels. So my thing is, if I'm going to go that route, I might as well go and get the luxury aspect. So I'm going to go with Cadillac, possibly Mercedes, if I need a second car. So that's just that. So I changed my avatar. Eventually, I'm going to change my head banner to something else. I haven't decided what it's going to be, but eventually I'm going to change that too. So it says here, and I come here, what I like about Social Blade is there's a lot of details for whatever reason that YouTube doesn't simply tell you. Like, for instance, I had to come to Social Blade just to see how many uploads I have that are visible. I have 2,716 uploads. In some months, I've done 30 videos. In some months, I've done 20. In some months, I've done 10. I think I average about maybe 10 to 15, somewhere between 10 and 15 videos. This is part of, for some reason, somebody keeps on asking me the same question over and over. They keep saying, why did you choose iPhone? Well, I keep telling you, first of all, iPhone has a superior ecosystem. For example, I was just in the bathroom taking my shower. I have an iPad that I keep in my bathroom, and using that iPad, I can listen to YouTube on my iPad. So if I want to listen to spoken word, or if I want to watch a video while on the toilet, it's like I have an iPad that I keep in my bathroom. It knows what was the last thing that I watched because these things share information over the cloud. So for the most part, I can do whatever on my iPad that I would normally do on my phone. The second thing besides the ecosystem is I think iOS is a superior platform. I think it has superior apps and superior app quality. On top of that, while you've got some people who keep on trying to convince me that Galaxy phones have better cameras, the reality is when I'm a person taking video in 4K at all times and I have a 1 terabyte storage iPhone 14 Pro Max, it's like you showing me photos of dark bushes and the moon. It's like that's stuff that makes no sense. I would never be putting that on YouTube. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So the bottom line is iPhone's camera, in my opinion, its camera and its recording camera, as far as I'm concerned, they're superior to what Android has. I don't care what Android has. That's how superior I think iOS is. So I'm not switching up. Until I see something absolutely better, I'm not switching. As far as my current iPhone 14, right now, Apple is in a rut because of China manufacturing being knocked out because of the COVID pandemic. So basically, a lot of U.S. companies, which I'll talk about later, a lot of U.S. companies are going to move their production to India. which means that you need to be ready to invest in Indian companies, corporations, and possibly factory systems. Right now, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to get an iPhone 14. I bought this thing right when I needed to. The day that it was released, I bought it. I am not going to upgrade this phone until a 2 terabyte iPhone comes out because I don't feel I need to. This 1 terabyte storage is fantastic. With all of the videos that I make, I still have 600 gigabytes left over. And I don't have to erase videos, so that means it's very easy to edit and splice and stuff. So far, so good. It's like that. My iPhone 14 was probably the best tech that I bought all year. Now, some people swear by the S22 and this, that, and the other, but I just don't care. It's like I got my iPhone. I'm very happy with it. I will wait until iPhone has a 2 terabyte storage. That's when I'll upgrade. And it's just that simple. Another thing is that my iPhone has basically paid for itself. As you can see, the videos that I make get lots and lots of views. I've added subscribers, which I'll talk about in a minute. But my iPhone was $1,750, and it paid for itself thanks to the YouTube views. It literally paid for itself. How do you argue with that? Okay. My total grade that they've given me is a B minus. Total uploads 2,716. After YouTube started making it so you couldn't hide subscribers, most of the struggle channels in the manosphere got basically exposed for being low interest, low view, low participation. I personally was stuck at about 75,000 subscribers for a while because YouTube itself was basically shadow banning content. If you said anything negative about COVID, if you said anything negative about anything political that they didn't like, they were basically shadow banning your channel. As you can see, I have 48 million video views. On average, I'm doing about 250,000 views per month on average. I'll get to that later. As you can see, it says country, United States, channel type, education. Now, I usually change the slider between autos, like cars. I change it usually between autos, and I change it between education sometimes when I'm talking about stocks or credit. And the reality is, like, some people, like, there's people keep attacking me, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, isn't your channel supposed to be about making money and about credit improvement and real estate? Guess what, guys? As I'm about to show you, those videos don't get a lot of views because people are more interested in the dick pussy conversation. So my thing is, I believe in capitalism. Give the people what they want. If people want to talk about Passport Bros, then that's what I'm doing. And that has helped me a lot in the algorithm. And it's just that simple. So if you want to talk about business on your channel, go ahead and talk about business on your channel. I do it intermittently. And the videos, like all those videos I made about anti-cryptocurrency, YouTube shadow banned all of those. YouTube kept those videos suppressed because they were busy pushing fake crypto gurus, and the fake crypto gurus caused you to lose all your money when Scam Bankrupt Fraud and his ugly ass Mega Man 2 Cutman girlfriend took your money and gave it to Alameda Research, bought FTX tokens, and then your money disappeared. So guess what? No matter how much they shadow ban you, this should be actually a lesson for new YouTubers. You have to keep on going. See, the thing about it is YouTube is a side hustle for me. I use it as a tax strategy. There are some people who disagree with me about what I use my YouTube for. I don't give a fuck. It's like I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You can't shame me. You can't blame me. You can't explain to me. I don't give a shit. If you want to do it on your channel, do what you want on your channel. Let me be very, very, very clear how things are going forward. I got trips planned. Bora Bora, Singapore, Philippines. I pay for those trips, not with the money from my business, but by my YouTube money. Not only that, but YouTube is a tax strategy. Using 1099, I file as a journalist. I know it's hard to explain this shit to stupid people who don't want to hear it. I don't give a shit. Bottom line is, I filed 1099 as a journalist. I have a CPA. My CPA does double duty. He does my business taxes, and he also files me 1099 as a journalist. Period. Whether I don't care if you like it or not. I don't know, how do I argue with people who ain't got nothing? That doesn't make sense to me. Why am I arguing with you? I ain't arguing with you. If you don't like it, that's just what it is. Talk to my CPA or talk to my lawyer. I don't give a fuck. So anyway, I filed 1099 as a journalist. All of those when you see my next couple of videos, now that I can make longer videos because I got the 1 terabyte iPhone, when I'm flying business class and I'm up there at 35,000 feet, sipping champagne, drinking my weight Moet Chandon, I just want you to know that YouTube's paying for it. I made a video a long time ago. I said, I'm going to give you fantastic flight travel experiences and the YouTube views are going to pay for it. I said that. I meant that. And that's what it is. If you don't like it, there's windows you can throw yourself out of. The proper term is defenestrate yourself. Okay, here we are. Let's see. I have, 519,461. That's my place, but I'm still a B minus, so it's like whatever. Honestly, I don't really care about the grades right here because I've seen other channels who have like 3 and 4 times as many subscribers as I do. Like they have like 800,000 subscribers, but they're still in the B's. They're not even an A. Because what it comes down to is subscriber engagement. If you have subscribers who are fake, or you have subscribers who are bots, or you have subscribers who are not engaged and they're not watching your videos, that actually brings your grade down. The only other important information here is my total subscribers. As you can see, when I started doing Passport Bro content, as you can see, YouTube had me flat with subscribers because the problem is if the videos don't get recommended and if the videos don't get seen, how's somebody supposed to subscribe to you? Because understand, I was shadow banned. I'm just going to say it just like that. But Passport Bro content pulled me out of the shadow ban. And you can see it right there. What is this? July 28th? As you can see, look at that peak rise in subscribers. You can see it yourself. Total video views weekly. As I said, per month, I'm averaging about 250,000 views a month. So you're talking about 250,000 views a month. Because of the Passport Bros content that I've been doing, obviously I pushed those numbers way up and I went beyond 300,000 for November and December. So that was pretty good. So here you can see these are the subscribers where it says live. I guess this is measuring Saturday, which is today, 2022. This is New Year's Eve right here. So basically, you got to remember, I have over 2,700 videos. So the majority of those videos pretty much are all monetized. The only time you see me delete content is if a video gets demonetized. Then I decide whether or not I want to delete it. But typically, that's the only time I'm going to delete a video if it's demonetized. And I know that if I re-edit it and put it back up, that I can make money on it. So most of my videos are making back royalties, which is something that always, I was talking about this with a friend. I was like, people like Kevin Samuels, people like Alan Roger Curry, if they have a YouTube channel that's pulling in money and their family has no access to that money, that's one of the reasons why you see them being forced to do GoFundMes to bury these people when they die. I'll never forget Robert Himmler, the one who had that green Gallardo, and he had videos taking his mom on rides and everything. He died of cancer. When he died, it was like his family had to do the exact same thing because they didn't have access to his YouTube. So the problem with YouTube is if your family doesn't have immediate access to it and something happens to you, it may be difficult for them to access those funds. Because you think about it, when you've got this royalty money coming in, your family could be eating very well off of that royalty money after you're gone. Now, I have my parents, they know what my bank account access codes are. My parents made it a point that whenever they go on vacation, I have my parents going on vacation soon. They're going to Africa. I'm not African, I'm African American, but they're going to Africa because they're going on a nice vacation and everything. But they show me where their boxes are for their social security papers. They show me where, any records they have are, their birth certificates, this, that, and other. long story short, if their plane were to crash or if they were to get killed in a foreign country somehow by accident or whatever, I have immediate access to their funds. Immediate access. They trust me because they know for the most part I have more than they do. I ain't trying to rob them, but they want to make sure that I have access to their funds. Likewise, I do a lot of travel. I fly recreationally as a pilot with Nassau Flyers. And the reality is, I've made it so that they have access to my bank accounts just in case something happens. Usually, when you got to plan a funeral for somebody, it's about like $10,000, between $10,000 and $20,000. Usually, it's never usually that high, but you figure a funeral and burial is somewhere around like $10,000. My parents have access to immediately $50,000 if they need it. As long as I'm alive, they don't need it, so they ain't worried about it. My parents know where my deeds and titles are for my property. Just in case anything happens to me, all this shit, I don't give a fuck about none of this. The TV on my wall, I bought it. The shoes on my feet, I bought it. The vacuum cleaner in my house, I bought it. All depends on me. All the ladies, independent, throw your hands up in there. So anyway, with that little diversion, all of this shit that's in my house, I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. The only thing that I care about is my Exo Squad collection and my gun collection. I don't know what they're going to do with the gun collection. I guess they'll be forced to sell it by the state or whatever. I don't know. But as far as my Exo Squad collection and my DVDs and stuff, I don't know who's going to want the DVDs because DVDs are like nobody uses them anymore. My books and stuff, most people ain't gonna read no more. My clothes, they can just donate all that shit to the Salvation Army. So the point is, you always have to have a plan B and a plan C. That's the point. But as far as my YouTube money, that YouTube money every single month on the 21st, YouTube pays out to content creators. As far as I know, all of us get paid on the 21st. So the thing about it is this money is going to continue going to my bank account. And as long as they have access to it, they ain't got to worry about, they don't have to worry about nothing. They have access to it. So I'm not worried about that. But I would say if you're a YouTuber, you should definitely consider that if you have to ever do estate planning. You should consider making sure that your family has access to your resources. Because if you're like an older guy, you got children, you got a wife, or you're a woman, you got a husband, you should definitely make sure that your family has access to your resources. The most trusted members of your family. I'm not talking about just giving it to any of them. I'm just talking, the most trusted member of your family or whatever. Future projections is kind of interesting here because obviously nobody can predict the future. Nobody could have predicted Passport Bros was going to take off. Nobody could have predicted Passport Bro content was going to rise all boats. The rising tide caused all boats to rise. Nobody could have predicted this was going to happen in 2022. But as you can see, they're predicting that I will have 100,000 subs by 2026, 1031. One of their things said that I should definitely be at 100,000 by, January, between basically January 2024, July 2024. When I get my electric Cadillac, I'm going to do a lot of content on electric cars. I've already done a lot of content on electric cars, like the newest technology and everything. But when I get my car, I'm going to do a lot of content on that car. I may even end up starting a Cadillac Lyric fan page for all I know. I don't know. Because right now I run a Jeep Grand Cherokee fan page on. I may start a Cadillac fan page for all I know. So we'll see what happens. But as far as electric vehicles go, no matter how you feel about them, they're the future. There's not really much you can do about that. They're the future. They're coming. You can try to hold on to your gas guzzler as long as you want just because you like the way it sounds. The reality is eventually it's going to become very expensive. It's going to become more expensive to insure, and they're going to give all the incentives to the electric vehicle crowd. I want to be there to grab those incentives. They call it subsidy capture. I want to be there to grab them. You can wait around as long as you want. And that's your choice. But the reality is you're going to be stuck paying $4 a gallon of gas. And meanwhile, I'm going to be re-energizing my car on the side of my house. So, hey, it's up to you. It's like whatever you want to do, that's cool on you. If you're that much into the racing culture and you want to spend all your money on oil, tires, and gas and wheel alignments and that is fine by me. I'm going to be the one who's riding around in the electric Cadillac and possibly an electric Mercedes, because they have a couple of electric Mercedes that I have my eyes on if I need a second car. But that's just the bottom line. That's what I'm planning on doing. So there it is. That's my year-end review. As far as I'm concerned, things are progressing very nicely. Subscribers 80,000.5. So as you can see, I went up like what did they say? They said I went up a certain number of subscribers, because I know within the last month or two I went up like at least 2,000. So I'm going to be doing a lot of different varied content and everything, because I never do just one thing. It's like I'm all over the place. And the thing about it is you have to do that as a YouTuber. If you don't diversify your content, then that basically causes you to lag behind. So that's something, if you're a new YouTuber and you're trying to use YouTube as either a tax strategy or you're trying to use YouTube as a side hustle, these are things that you got to understand. You have to diversify your content. You have to. So I guess that's about it for my year in review. What is it? It's almost the middle of the day, New Year's Eve. There was one more video I really wanted to make. I wanted to make a video about my Exo Squad collection and talk about new pieces and this, that, and other. I was going to do that for my Facebook group that I'm a part of. But I guess that's basically about it for now. The only other thing I might want to just end this video talking about is the state of the stock market, my future predictions for it. And the thing about it is, I'd be perfectly honest with you, because I've always told you, I ain't no fucking crypto guru. All these idiots lying to you and telling you Bitcoin is going to be $100,000 by 2 years ago. None of them could have predicted Russia versus Ukraine. None of them could have predicted Jerome Powell raising interest rates. None of them could have predicted COVID. So the bottom line is, it's like, when I say my predictions, I don't want you to take that as I'm telling you what to do with your money. I want you to just take that as this is what I'm doing with my money. And if we do it that way, it's like everybody can be friendly and happy and nobody can point fingers and blame everybody if something goes wrong. But I'm going to talk about the state of the market just a little bit. Before I continue, I just want to make a very, very short a congratulatory announcement to Christian Wood, who signed a $53 million deal after his ex-girlfriend dumped him for not getting drafted to the NBA. Let this be a lesson for you folks. There are some people who will hang around you when you have, but the moment when you don't have, they cut you loose. There are some, I think one of the biggest problems is with the social media era, people have forgotten what the word friend actually is. I think a lot of people confuse friends for acquaintances. Friends are basically people who are intimate with you, who you can trust, who go to bat for you, who you can go to bat for, people who can trust you. What we really have is mostly like followers, people who follow us. They don't know us personally. You couldn't reach out to them if you needed to. The way I always say it is, your trustworthy people, your real friends, those are the people who, like, when you fill out a job application and it asks you about emergency contacts, you know who the real people are who you can trust in your life, because those are the people who you're going to put on that application. If you're filling out a job application and it asks you about emergency contacts and you think about a person and you're like, wait a minute, I can't put this person's name here because this person's always got some bullshit going, or this person's never available, or I can't trust that this person will be there for me in a pinch. That ain't no friend. That ain't no friend. Likewise, with women, if you can't trust her, just like I'm talking about how you should be able to trust somebody with your YouTube money, even something that simple. If you can't trust somebody with your money, if you can't trust that they won't steal it, if you can't trust that they won't waste what's yours, if you can't trust that they won't take and steal what's yours, if you can't trust that they won't leave you high and dry the minute that for whatever reason you've got nothing, then that person ain't a real one. And I think everybody pretty much understands what I'm saying. So, congratulations to this bro. $53 million deal after his ex-girlfriend dumped him because she thought, oh, you ain't nothing. You ain't nobody. You didn't get drafted to the NBA. You ain't nothing. Yeah, well, guess what? Now he's got $53 million in his deal. What you got besides your raptor claws, your fake hair, your eyelashes that are 2 feet long? And then the thing about it is, let's say this is how you like to dress, and you like to put those disgusting septum rings in your nose with boogers and snot dripping all up and down the ring. The key is now who's going to pay for it? Because he ain't. Christian Wood ain't going to pay for it. Not with his $53 million. What you got? The only thing you got is a welfare check coming to you because he ain't taking it. I hope to God that this man, like when you try to grovel at his feet, I hope he kicks you straight to the curb. Says, no, absolutely not. I'm getting my passport. And if he doesn't want to get his passport, I just hope he does his SYSBM because you just showed him that you ain't a real one. You just showed him. And that's just how it is.
Guys, yesterday I had my first date with an American woman. And it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. An absolute disaster. I arrived at the restaurant. First of all, her name is Kimberly. Oh la la, Kimberly. It's not my favorite name, but it's fine, you know. She's pretty, you know. So we sit down, we take the menu, and she looks me in the eyes and she tells me she doesn't eat gluten. You don't eat gluten? But how can you not eat gluten? Gluten is my life. Kimberly, gluten is croissant. Gluten is baguette. How can you not eat gluten? So I'm starting to be confused. I'm not going to lie. I look left, I look right. I'm a bit confused in this restaurant. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to have some glass of wine, you know, like chill a little bit, you know. And so I was like, what do you want to drink? And she tells me she doesn't drink alcohol. Oh, la, 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 la. How can you not drink alcohol in your life, Kimberly? Alcohol is joy. Le vin, the wine is the joy. So I'm sorry if I left the restaurant without saying goodbye. I couldn't stay there. I'm sorry, but I can't have a love relationship with someone who doesn't eat gluten and doesn't drink wine. I'm sorry, Kimberly.
All right, on one of my Facebook groups, there was a couple of stories I posted. Basically, it was just talking in general about how bad the housing market is. U.S. suffering from the second biggest home price correction of the post-World War II era, right? Then there was another one. Guess who gets blamed when home buyers believe they've paid too much? The bottom line in any investment, no matter what it is buy low, sell high. And that's basically how the housing market is designed. You're basically supposed to be buying in when you're in your 20s. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to have 2 incomes working towards retirement. Once you and your wife retire, you usually sell that property to a younger couple, and then you move to warmer Florida or something like that, and you buy a cheaper property that's easier to take care of, and you do your best to pay as little taxes as possible, and then you live out your remaining days. Eventually you die. That is supposed to be the circle of life. And your children basically follow in your footsteps, do the same thing. Unfortunately, as I've pointed out before, by delaying childbirth, ruining and delaying family planning, and having children much, much later in life, buying property much, much later in life, and by genuinely wasting a large amount of your money and then going deeper and deeper into debt for frivolous reasons, most people can't follow that circle of life, and that is the reason why they fail. That is the reason why they can't hold on to wealth. Now, there was some other things I posted about Greta Thunberg right here. Greta Thunberg, like, I don't know what's going on with her. And then the Andrew Tate thing. But then the first story I really wanted to mention, by the way, Jeff Bezos-Backed arrived homes surpasses 200 single-family investment property funded. Let's take a quick look at that right there. Fractional real estate investment platform Arrived Homes hit a major milestone this month, funding its 200th single-family home. The company has now funded 203 investment properties with a total value of more than $75 million. The homes were all funded by retail investors who put up as little as $100 each to buy shares of the property. Why would investors buy shares of single-family homes? Most of the properties funded on the platform are leased out to long-term tenants who pay monthly rent that trickles down to each shareholder in the form of quarterly dividends. Long story short, well, okay, let me just finish that. The rest of the homes are used as short-term rentals, rented on a nightly basis through sites like Airbnb. Investors are also expected to benefit from appreciation over the long term. When the properties are eventually sold, the equity will be distributed among the shareholders. The idea of fractional investment in rental properties caught the attention of Amazon.com founder Jeff Bezos early on. The billionaire invested in Arrive Homes' $37 million seed rounds in 2021. Through his Bezos Expedition Fund, Bezos was joined by several other high-profile investors such as Salesforce Mark Benioff, through Time Ventures, Spencer Rascoff, and Dara Khosrowshahi. Bezos increased his bet on the investment platform earlier this year by making another investment during the company's $25 million Series A round. Fractional real estate has become a popular asset class for real estate investors, especially since the stock market has been experiencing extreme volatility over the past couple of years, and cryptocurrency has shown few signs that it can recover to its previous price levels. Let me help you out that. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates. Cryptocurrency was killed by that. And by raising interest rates, the Federal Reserve popped all of the bubbles that it helped create, not only in the stock market, but obviously in the crypto market, obviously in the housing market, obviously in the student loan industry, and obviously in the used car and the new car market. When you're dealing in a country where everything is based on credit and debt, there are some people still on YouTube talking about how, I don't play the credit card game. I don't worry about my FICO score. Yeah, you're not worried about it now, but eventually when some bill comes to you that you absolutely don't have enough cash money to pay, then you'll understand what I'm talking about when I've been explaining to people to improve their credit, fix their credit, improve their credit beyond 800, to make sure their credit is exceptional. That's when you'll understand. Some people are stupid and it takes them a long time to figure shit out. I'm always looking forward. On top of that, if you wanted to buy a property and you're saving up cash, you're saving up while chasing the cost of inflation on your money. You can't save up while the cost of inflation is making your money worth less and less and less. The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates, but interest rates are still lower than the inflation rate. So they can't fight inflation if inflation is higher than the interest rate that they set. They can't raise the interest rate to the point that they need to raise it to, because then the national debt at $31 trillion becomes unpayable and America would start to default on its debts and obligations. You got to understand, this is a game of chess, and the people who are playing right now, I think these people are playing checkers. And they're at this point, they're just desperate and they don't know what to do. And things are falling apart around us because these people think that they know what they're doing. And even they're telling you that they have no idea what's happening. Yeah, inflation is transitory. Remember that shit? You remember when they stood in front of you and told you that on national news? They told the government, don't worry, inflation's transitory. Yeah. So that was just one story right there. So this man is parking his money in order to get dividends, dividend-paying stock. When you're this rich and you're looking for a 1 or a 2% dividend, most people look at that and they don't think that that's a big deal. But then there's other stupid morons out there who invest and gamble their money in, cryptocurrency and things where they end up losing 75% of their value. Slow and steady wins the race. That is what I learned from that anecdote about the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. As long as I keep on saving small amounts of money regularly, periodically, that small amount of money continues to build up. If I take out dividend stock in companies that continue to pay their dividends, that small amount of money slowly builds up over years. Some people want to try to run the race fast, but they end up like the hare. They end up collapsing before the finish line. Meanwhile, the tortoise just moves right on past you. That's just what it is. There was another story. Oh, in fact, this whole thing about Kathy Woods and Kevin O'Leary. Let me tell you something. When I heard about Kevin O'Leary going into cryptocurrency, I was like, yeah, this is bullshit. And sure enough, it happened. One of the comments that I made, and I made this comment more than once, I said the problem with losing so much money on a stock, or in this case, crypto, is that you tell yourself, I haven't lost until I sell, and then I've locked in the loss. Crypto pumpers right now are trying to talk the price up just high enough for them to be able to sell at a break-even point, because they don't want to accept the fact that they've lost their money, most likely for good. So they're trying to pump it up with advertisement and by, positive energy talk. They're trying to pump it up high enough for them to be able to push the sell button. But now that their hopes of Bitcoin 100,000 have been completely dashed, better to hold the L with hopes that it could someday rise again than to accept the L and hit the sell button to salvage the other 25% of their money. So if you buy a whole Ethereum for $3,500 and now you've lost more than half of your money and you're down to, let's say, $1,400. Or even, what is it, $1,200 right now? I don't even know what it is right. It's about $1,200 right now. I think it's less than that. Rather than just accept the fact that it's not coming back and hit the sell button, rather than do that, they would rather risk the other $1,200. So at a certain point, you get locked into a paralysis where you refuse to sell. If Bitcoin plummets another 10,000, they'll be in a different frame of mind. Instead, they end up becoming Bitcoin's floor. So rather than you selling, you're helping to add to the floor of these cryptocurrencies by holding. And when you add to that floor, it is being used by the pumpers to try to entice people to come in. Because no matter what they say, Bitcoin's had an absolute horrible year. In fact, one of these stories, like Peter Schiff said, how long does Bitcoin have to fall before you admit that you're wrong and sell your stack? And most of these people said, no, I'm holding till zero. Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant, guys. And the thing about it is they want to try to talk about Bitcoin versus where it was last year, but they don't want to mention the fact that this shit nearly got to $70,000 and then the whole thing collapsed. Bitcoin on track for worst year since 2018. I'm not going to read that right now. But that they don't want to talk about cryptocurrency and how much divestment and how much malinvestment. They don't want to talk about how much money has evaporated. But when you really think about it, the money didn't just evaporate, it was stolen. Scam, bankrupt, fraud was arrested by the Democrats so that he couldn't testify on them and all the people who he gave money to. Somewhere right now, he's probably in a cell and they're coaching him on what he's going to say. Oh, well, we'll try to work with you to get you the fewest number of years as we possibly can. But chances are, if this was a just society, you'd be going away for the rest of your natural life. So anyway, I guess you want to see this cop versus Hellcat. What kind of stupid motherfucker? Boom! Anyway, okay. Now, here's a story that I posted. They were promised an end to homelessness. Now they face eviction. Dwayne Seaforth spent years struggling with homelessness, including 4 sleeping on New York City streets and 1 living in a Bronx shelter with his young daughter. Then, in spring 2020, a city caseworker presented Seaforth with a solution, a vacant apartment he could afford using a special city voucher. As I've tried to explain to you, when you own property here in New York City, believe me, there's no way to lose at all. If I wanted to, I could go on Airbnb host, and I could host to an Airbnb that they would allow Ukrainian refugees, Syrian refugees, refugees in general to rent out my property. And it's not them paying for it. It's actually Airbnb getting its government subsidies or something, and they actually pay you to rent out your property. You can't lose. If it's not them, the government itself has Section 8. Most people don't want to deal with Section 8 because they know these people tear their properties up, but there's always an option. The 11th-story building on 133rd Street in Harlem, with its newly finished rooms, balconies, and Manhattan views, drew a stark contrast with the shelter where Seaforth and his daughter, Dekata Holiday Seaforth, said they encountered the biggest rats and cockroaches that they've ever seen. Okay, it was a chance for Seaforth, who had been living off food stamps and the wages he earned working part-time for the Parks Department, to give Dakota a real home. The family moved in. Soon, most of the building's 46 units were filled with families with similar stories. Children settled into nearby schools. Seaforth, 41, got a full-time job delivering packages for Amazon. What the families did not know was that the building was already mired in a conflict that would soon leave them on the brink of homelessness again. Seaforth now lives every day worrying about whether a marshal will throw him and his daughter out. Sometimes I think I should have just stayed in the shelter, he said. The extraordinary saga of how a Harlem building beckoned a group of families desperate for a home, only to serve them another cruel twist, involves multiple lawsuits, accusations of fraud, and bankruptcy. But it also represents how elusive, stable, affordable housing can be in New York City, where the population in shelters rose to record levels this year. And it shows how the people living those struggles frequently have little control over how they are resolved. Housing should not be a privilege, Seaforth said. Yeah, it's very easy for you to say that, but the problem is you got to work for this shit. Like, when they say a mortgage, do you understand that mortgage comes from Old French? It means a death pledge. That's what it means. It literally means that. It means that I pledge to my death. I pledge on my life that when you borrow this money to me, I will repay it. Mort means death. Mort. I don't speak French, but I'm just saying morte. That shit means death. And this is a death pledge. Housing is not necessarily a privilege, but you got to work for this. And if you don't, then you end up pushed out of this state and you end up having to go to a cheaper state somewhere down south where you can actually afford to live based on your skill set. New York, I realized it a long time ago. New York, after 2001, they made so many changes after 9/11 that our real estate has skyrocketed. Like, when I talk about the values of my properties, if you didn't know any better, you'd think I was lying. When I talk about, and that's one of the reasons why I do these ads, because, not the ads, I do these articles. Because when I talk about how things are here, a lot of people just don't understand it. They don't believe it, especially people in other countries. They're like, what are you talking about? A one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan can be rented for $4,000. What are you talking about? A $3,000 one-bedroom basement apartment in Brooklyn? Like, they don't believe this shit. And I'm trying to explain it to them, but nobody listens. Because either they assume you cap it or they think you're bullshitting or whatever. So it's like, whatever. It's like, I'll do my thing and I'll just be that. It's like, there's no point in trying to explain it. The property he moved into with his daughter at 308 133rd Street used to be a site of a Harlem church that had fallen into disrepair. But in 2017, developer Levi Balcony submitted a plan to build a new condo building there. 2 years later, a limited liability company controlled by Balcony, the son of a Brooklyn rabbi who had been convicted of extortion and fraud. Oh yeah, this sounds like this is a great way to start things out. Took out a $26 million loan to finish the building's construction. Balcony quickly encountered difficulties with the loan he had taken from Arena Investors, an asset management firm that has also done business in the Caribbean and Spain. The firm said he defaulted on the loan at least 3 times in 2019, including for failing to pay interest, according to court records. Balcony and his lawyers did not respond to requests for comment. After the city issued a new, higher tax assessment on the building in 2019, a lawyer for Balcony said in court that the increased price for the condos would be too high for the target market. He looked to a new, more stable source of revenue, renting the homes to those struggling with homelessness. Under the plan, Balcony would rent to families who could not afford the apartments on their own, but who are eligible for vouchers, which are rent supplements funded by the city and state. So, you know what, listen, I could read this entire thing to you, but I'm not. I'm going to give you the link for it just in case you want to read it yourself. The last thing I will say, it says voucher programs are crucial tools in curbing homelessness, including coronavirus relief funds. The city spent about $350 million in the past fiscal year to help thousands of families find or keep stable homes through the programs. The welfare state cannot allow people to fall beyond a certain level. There's always going to be a shelter. There's always going to be a voucher. There's always going to be a check in the mail. But this is not what you want to be. What you want to be is you want to be living above this. You want to be working. You want to have shadow income. You want to have side hustles. You want to have tax strategies. You don't want to be on this level. You don't want them using you as a poster child. In California, there's people literally, because see, you got to remember, here in New York, the temperature drops so low until people could literally freeze to death in minutes. Like you've probably seen some of the photos from, Buffalo, New York? That's a further upstate near Niagara. It gets so cold there that these people die in minutes, like when they're outside. They literally die in minutes. Now, the government told you not to go outside, but you decide, no, I'm going to go outside so I can do some vlogging or so I can, I just feel like going to the mall right now. I feel like going to, it's like they told you to stay inside. What are you doing? But some people just don't listen. So my thing is, you want to be above this. You want to make sure that your finances and your money is on a whole nother level where you've got money coming in. Like for example, my YouTube videos. I could be asleep. I could be in the bathroom taking a shit. I could be in the shower. My videos are getting views and making money while I'm not even looking at them. And that's 10 videos ago. That's called shadow income. That's called passive income. That's what you need. You need, because it's just like with these music artists and these rappers, some of them who are lucky enough to have hit songs or hit albums, they're getting royalties. Now, I disagree with the way they spend their money because they're spending all of their money and they don't know if anything's ever going to change, like if those royalties may ever reduce in value. But the bottom line is when you got all that shadow income, that phantom income, that side money coming in, it's like you can rest and relax and just know that every single time you open up the app on your phone to check your bank account, that it's going to be more than it was yesterday. And that feels good. Yeah, so as you can see, I had a couple of posts about scam, bankrupt, fraud right here. Life looks like, how his life looks like. He's living at his parents' house. His parents need to give him a hug so that when he goes to jail, federal prison, his parents should give him a hug. And then you got Andrew Tate there. Oh, yeah. So basically, I already did a video talking about 6 expert steps to improve your finances. But listen, the simplest thing you can do is focus on building your credit up. How do you build your credit? Well, you got to pay off your debts as quickly as you can. Some people will tell you to start with the highest interest debt first. Some people will tell you to start with the lowest balance debt first, pay that one off, just get it out of the way. How you choose to do it is up to you. Paying off the cheapest debts first and working your way up to the bigger debt is probably the best way to go. But we're in a situation now where they've got like student loans paused and these people have interest payments paused. My thing is you should be paying those interest payments because as long as you're paying on the interest payments, at least you stop it from rising in overall cost. Even if you can't tackle the principal, you can start at least paying the interest. Some of these people, they're not doing any of that. They're using whatever little bit of money they've got to furnish themselves with luxuries, and they're expecting the government's going to pay this all off. Well, I have news for you. There's no way to cancel out damn near $2 trillion in student loan debt. It's not going to happen. If they do try to do that, it will result in the largest amount of inflation you've ever seen. Gas prices could triple again, just like they did from the last inflation that you saw. You're worried about not being able to afford food? you may end up eating roaches and bugs that are churned into a pudding or a slurry because you can't afford to freaking eat. You know how they had in the Great Depression, they had those old women eating cat food and dog food? Yeah, you might end up eating Fancy Feast and Purina One. That's how bad things could get. And the sad thing about it is a lot of you will try to, adapt to the new normal, and you'll literally have a bowl of kibbles and bits right there on the table for you. It might get so bad you might even eat your own pet. It might get that bad. But bottom line is, I know it probably isn't going to happen that way because, the government at this point knows that all they can do is keep the interest rates high as they can go and try to fight inflation, which obviously they're failing. But this is part of the reason why I'm going electric, because the reality is electricity is going to keep on flowing. I was at the gas station the other day. I drove into the gas station and I was going to get gas. Gas was like $3.98 or $3.95. At a regular gas station, it was $4.08, right? I get up to the pump and the fucking premium gas is out. There's no premium. And I'm like, wait a minute, how'd y'all let this happen? How did y'all let there be no premium gas here? Now, sometimes I've actually gone to the gas station and there was premium, but there was no regular unleaded. When I get my electric car right now, just like I'm sitting here making this video, and I'm talking to, my car could be sitting outside my house charging right now. And you're like, yeah, but you got to worry about the range. No, I don't. I don't drive that much. Like, the traffic is really annoying. But for the most part, you're not wasting as much energy in traffic as you're wasting with a gas car. On top of that, the range of these things is at least 300 miles. Even if I said 30% of that was going to disappear due to the energy wasted, like using the heater and HVAC and all that, reality is it's still a hell of a lot better than what I'm doing with a gas car right now. So it's like, I'm going to do my thing, you do your thing. But the bottom line is, the important thing about 2023, first of all, Passport Bros are killing it. We're killing it. We got trips planned. We got vacations coming up. We're gonna have 4K video of our vacations. We got these foreign wives planned. People getting married overseas. We're killing it already. We're killing it. Now, as far as you and your money go, the most important things you can be doing is just very simple things. Save more money, spend less, and invest the difference. It's just that simple. Spend less, save more, invest the difference. It's very, very simple. I still recommend dividend-paying stocks. I still recommend oil companies. I still recommend banks. Right now, everything's down, but I still recommend oil and banks. Airlines are also down, but they don't turn a profit, and they're not going to turn a profit anytime soon. So my recommendation is, unless you just have a lot of extra money and you want to own specific airlines, for right now, I'd probably stay away from those. However, if you do choose to buy into them, if you're willing to wait like 5 or 10 years, maybe you'll see a profit out of them. But I'm not too comfortable about them at this point. Travel is down because people can't afford really to travel. So, travel's down. Everything's in recession right now. The tech companies I still believe in because the tech companies have positioned themselves very well. Tesla I still believe in. Tesla has positioned itself very, very well. Someday the Cybertruck will be on the road. Someday they'll have a Tesla Model 2. Right now they're focusing on delivering their 3s and Ys, which is their best sellers. I'm not worried about Tesla making me money because it always has. Since 2012, it always has. So I'm not worried about them. These other electric startups, Rivian, I've been seeing more and more Rivians on the road. I've been seeing more and more Lucids. Rivian and Lucid are making waves. And while their stock is low, for those of you who actually do choose to invest, even though they don't pay a dividend, it's like worth holding on to for the future. Because you got to understand, one of the reasons why we're in stagflation right now, we're in a stagflation and a recession, because recession is really part of stagflation. The point about stagflation is it happens because of poor government policies, which is exactly what we've got. But the important thing to remember is that China is not producing right now because of COVID. They're not producing as much as they would be or should be. We are going to slowly be moving production to India. So I do recognize that in 2023, a lot of the videos that I make are going to be about India and production in India and corporations moving to India. So that said, we're in recession now, but once the new year really gets rolling, you're going to see corporations slowly move to India. You're probably not going to see energy prices drop very much because of the fact that we've shut off Russian cheap oil. It's so funny. I've had these arguments with stupid people who think they know every goddamn thing, but they don't. But the reality is, when you start talking about Venezuela oil, you start talking about Russian oil, first thing somebody tries to say is that bullshit that they heard on MSNBC or CNN. Oh, but Russian oil is dirty. Venezuelan oil is dirty. It's like, hey, idiot, I don't think you realize what oil actually is, how the shit comes out the fucking ground, and, refining it can be done to make it into gasoline. It's like some of these people are stupid. But bottom line is, I'm going electric. You can do whatever you want. If you want to keep on paying them $4 a gallon, that's good for you. You have a good time with that. Have fun. I'm going electric. All right. In fact, one of my friends just went electric. He bought himself a Kia EV6. When he starts making videos about it, and by the way, traded in a scat pack and got himself a Kia EV6. When he starts making videos, I'm going to share his videos, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I start sharing his videos. I'm waiting for him to get his car today. He's getting his car today. And I know he's going to have a great time with his car because I know I'm going to have a great time with mine. But that's just the reality. It's like save more, spend less, invest the difference. I ain't trying to keep paying them $150 a week in fuel. I want to save $130 out of that $150 so that this way I could take that $130 and invest it. Or I could take that $130 and save it. I've built up 3 different stock portfolios. I built up TD Ameritrade. I built up Charles Schwab. I built up E-Trade. I did that not by spending my last dime. I built that by saving, spending less, saving more, and investing the difference. And as far as this YouTube thing goes along, tax strategy, baby. I can't wait for tax season. Most of y'all are afraid of tax season because you're going to owe. I don't owe. I got my CPA working magic over there. Legal magic. We file every single year on time. I keep all my receipts. If the IRS ever tried to say, oh, yeah, we're going to audit you, I'd be like, okay, right here. Here you go. Right here. What you got? That's it. There's nothing they can do. If they audited my business, okay, right here. Here's the box. Here's our files. What do you want? Boom, here you go. So that's what I'm saying. It's like people got to be smarter. Fix your credit. Fix your credit. Just get your credit fixed. Pay off these goddamn debts. Stop paying these people interest. When that Cadillac is ready for delivery, I've got almost $80,000 set aside just for that Cadillac. Set aside, separate account, set aside. As soon as they call me, I'm ready to buy my Cadillac. And I don't even have to spend all the money because you got to remember my Jeep SRT trade-in is worth about $30,000. So the thing about it is, it's like I'm going to trade the whole truck in, and then I'm going to spend maybe $40,000, $50,000 or something. I can't wait. I want it now. But the bottom line is, I ain't paying these people interest. They can keep that. I ain't paying them no interest. Pay off your credit cards. Spend less, save more, invest the difference. That's all I can say.
Merry Happy Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa. Merry Happy Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa.
To be continued.